it puts you in especially I think in hookup culture, it puts you in a weak, maybe weak isn't the right word for it. A vulnerable, maybe a vulnerable
Yeah.
situation where, and it seems like in hookup culture that being vulnerable is what you don't want to be, as far as, like you said, um, I hadn't thought about that way before, but if it's so easy, especially for a guy, and guys have less of a tendency to bond, as far, at least most of them, readily, like women do. But if he has the option of getting on his phone and jumping on Tinder and having four or five or six or whatever other choices of
Yeah.
women to switch to, it's got to create a situation that's putting more pressure, on the women that he's got a relationship with now. Yeah, I mean, looking back on my dating days, if something happened between you and your steady, it would be a matter of having to go find, somebody else, and probably at least weeks, maybe months,
Yeah.
maybe a year, so finding somebody. So yeah, I had not thought about those repercussions. The would you say the social media situation has been a helpful or a hurting situation on relationships?
Definitely hurtful. I think a lot of people forget that social media is not reality. Um, Everybody has a tendency to, on their social media, only showcase the great, wonderful things that are happening in their lives. They're not telling you what's happening behind closed doors. And so we have this warped perception of, what our realities are supposed to look like. And we think that we have to be perfect and we have to be up to a certain standard because this person,
Mhm.
her boyfriend, do this or that, or they look like this and they get to go here. And, so we have this really messed up perception how things are supposed to look in a relationship. And so it people look at social media and they want what the other person has, what they see these people have, but they don't know what's going into that relationship at all.
Right. Everything's been edited on social media, and you don't get the reality, I'm sure, of
For instance, I'm just saying it's very relevant right now. The Quavo and Saweetie, I don't know that girl's name. Rappers, everybody thought they were this cute power couple. And now that they're split up, they're seeing all these things that were actually happening behind closed doors, like potential, or alleged domestic violence and all this other stuff and infidelity. And everyone is so shocked. And I'm like, you guys, you just didn't see the whole picture. They never posted this stuff.
right.
Just post the good.
Right, and people don't stop and think about that. I think especially like younger ones, like middle schoolers and ones that are just coming onto it. If their parents are letting them, get on at that age, I'm sure it's a very disillusioning and maybe even depressing, type of experience to as time goes along. So, there's always been the kind of the mean girls at the school or whatever, and you had to put up with it when you're at school, but at least in the earlier years, you got to get away from it. But now it's kind of,
It's everywhere.
yeah, all around you.